Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Talents Out Loud. I'm your host, Jackie Iadonisi, and I have a great show for you today. I cannot wait to dive in. All right, everybody, welcome back to Talents Out Loud, the place where we get to the heart of the music industry. And today we have a special guest in the studio. We have Carmel Helene, country singer. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. What's up, everybody?
For those of you guys that aren't following us on social media, Facebook and YouTube, if you haven't seen it already, Carmel Helene came on our Musicash weekly show, and we did a wonderful interview with her.
We had a blast.
She performed, and it was beautiful, by the way. Voice of an angel. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go to our social media and go see that interview. But what I love about this podcast is that we could dive in a little bit deeper, get to know who she is, and answer all of those burning questions that you guys want to know about the music industry, because Carmel, like you know, it's tough out there for artists. It's definitely tough.
It's really tough. So you have to just, grab the bull by the horns and get out there. And social media, as you mentioned, checking out the sites and posting, a lot and just being consistent.
Yeah, before we dive into that, because, we got to talk about social media. It's powerful and it's all about social media these days. But let's tell the audience a little bit about you and how you got into music and all of that.
Well, awesome. So yeah, I'm Carmel Helene, and I'm from San Francisco originally, but I grew up with a father who was in the music industry. He was a black conga player who played for like Latin jazz and funk kind of situations. He played with Cal Jader and Chick Corea and that kind of thing, and I grew up listening to Michael Jackson with him, and then my mom was like a white hippie chick who played the banjo and the guitar, and she played country, and I used to sing Willie Nelson with her, and so I got kind of a mixed background, and I was like the only black girl in all the schools I went to and the only poor one, and so I turned to music as my solace, and I got so many different genres under my belt. And then I got into heavy metal music because I was, that's where the misfits go. And
obviously, right? When you're all sad and depressed at school, it's like you want to bang that like crazy music.
That's what I did.
I think we've all been there. I've been there.
And then kind of came full circle back to country music. About 7 years ago, I just decided to pursue my original career, in that genre, because I've always loved it, and the songwriting, and I feel like there's a lot of class that comes with that genre, and I just felt like it fit me, so just kind of ended up there.
Yeah, out of all those genres that you said that you listen to, it's crazy that you fell in love with country the most.
Yeah, I love it. I really respect the songwriting and the craft, and it's just a great genre.
Normally when people talk about country, that's the number one thing that they say is the lyrics. Yeah. What artists inspired you? What lyrics were like, okay, I want to do that?
Well, like Willie Nelson was one of the first ones, Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. That's just a beautiful song. It's just heart-wrenching. Come on, that songwriting. And Dolly Parton, the songwriting is like amazing. And Trisha Yearwood, that voice. And nowadays, like the band Perry, they're kind of rocking. I like that it has so many different influences within the music. Pop, rock. It's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you're a biracial woman, and you don't really see, nowadays you see a little bit more, but that had to be kind of a struggle, like, okay, I'm going into this field where I don't really see a lot of people like me. Was that a struggle for you?
Well, for me, personally, I feel like I might have had it a little easier because I'm a spiritual person. I believe that I'm not my body. Not to get all deep in there, but just saying. So therefore, I feel like the whole argument of race is absolutely ridiculous. Like, and number one, you had nothing to do with it. So I refuse to get bent out of shape about it every once in a while. So I think my attitude towards it helps avert any kind of animosity towards me in general, because I just go in there like I don't pay any attention at all. There's little things that have happened over the years, but I think a lot of times if you just continue to talk to them I haven't had any like hardcore racism or anything like that, or people stopping me. Luckily, maybe because I'm from California.
That does help.
That helps.
Does help.
And like I said, if I do go somewhere, I've been lucky, I guess.
That's great.
I'm not going to go to certain areas, but I feel like my attitude stops it. One person was trying to like, in Nashville, actually, he was trying to like egg me on, and he kept saying these things that were kind of racist, but I was just like laughing like, it's not going to bite. Sorry, dude.
Wow.
Like, that's not going to affect me.
No, that's incredible. No, that's really incredible. And I think, all artists have to come across some kind of trials, and everyone has different trials. And I think that's the best advice, really, is kind of like shake it off, know who you are, be confident in that, and keep it pushing.
Yeah, really, because a lot of times you actually can. That particular guy, I was able to win him over.
Oh,
and we
I
became
love that.
friends, and they invited me to dinner, and I hung out like all night with them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
I
then
love that.
The thing is, once we started talking too, it is taught, racism, because he said like his grandfather, it's either his father or his grandfather, was in a war or something, and some brown-colored person was throwing rocks at him. And it sort of got so he hated them, and it's like this vicious cycle of revenge, and then you have to like stop it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I love that story.
Thank you.
As you know, there are so many artists that are submitting for our Musicash competition, and the competition is really heating up. So I just kind of want to dive in and give them some advice of what it really means to be a musician now in 2000 and what year are we? 19? 2019 now. I know social media is huge to push music these days. You see, Ariana Grande and how she uses her Instagram, and you even see stuff like the Fry Festival where, the event wasn't that well, but they use social media to get a lot of people's attention. So we can't deny that is huge when it comes to pushing your music. So for you, what do you find is the best, social media platform to promote your music?
Well, I wanted to touch on a few things that you said. Social media definitely is very important. That's like the marketing tool of the day that we use nowadays. And also Musicash is a good way. Like you said, it's a competition you to put yourself out there, and that's really the name of the game, is putting yourself out there, like way out there as much as you can.
Does that bother you as an artist? Because I feel like back in the day, it's like you kind of had to like hit the ground running and perform with shows, and now it's just kind of like post a video of you singing on Instagram. I don't know, like that. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Now that you mention it, it's kind of annoying for us, like old school hard. It's hard work. It's not that annoying.
Okay.
I'm half kidding. But yeah, the thing is that you have to be good. Number one, like I think.
I would
some
say,
people aren't good. It's hard to say.
That's a whole other argument. We'll touch on that in a second.
Now.
We'll touch that on it in a second. But yeah, what's social media? How have you promoted your music, and what have you seen be successful?
Okay, so I think that just putting yourself out there a lot. So Instagram, of course. I think that seems to be the one of choice lately.
Yeah.
And YouTube and Facebook and all these things. And like Snapchat, I never got into that. It was big for a while, but I don't know. Not sure about that one. But yeah, just putting yourself out there and posting a lot and being consistent. A lot of people know that. Just a lot of content, and I feel like that if you are really talented and you have really worked on your craft, you can't really get around that. If you want to sustain yourself for a long period of time, then I think that eventually people do notice. You do gain fans, and people that you may need will find you eventually.
I love that. What do you say to people that feel like it kind of discredits them if they're posting videos of them singing? Does it take away? I know normally people will be like, oh, I want to be signed, and if I put things out on YouTube or Instagram, it will make me look not as professional. Do you believe in that?
Well, not anymore.
Okay.
I feel like, but there's also so many different avenues you can take. So I feel like if you're persistent and you're talented, you can do it. Just, get out there. But I had problem with it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to do covers. I've done covers for a living for many years. Why would I want to put out my originals? But then come to find out, that's what you're supposed to do, put out covers, because people will
watch it.
And then you can, introduce your originals as well.
Man.
So that's the way now.
Yeah. Okay. So it does work. Social media, posting covers. You would definitely give someone advice to do that.
I would.
All right. So let's go into, I know last time we talked on Musicash Weekly, you were talking about management and how there's been pros and cons. If somebody is looking for a manager, what advice would you give them?
Well, I think I run into people who are looking for managers or who have managers who don't actually need them yet.
Oh. The shade. No, I'm just kidding.
So there's a lot you can do on your own, and you should do on your own.
Yes.
You need to just work really hard, and then you can have people coming in, too early and saying they're going to book shows for you or whatnot, and then they don't, because no one's going to work as hard on their career for you as you will, kind of a thing. And so they're like, oh, I got that. And then they don't. And then your opportunity has left when you should have been working on it yourself. So stuff like that. So I feel like once you get up to the point where you need help with booking certain things that you can't book, or for contacts, that kind of thing is when you would find one. And you can sort of submit to them just sort of through word of mouth, or I think there's industry books that have them and that kind of thing. For me, it's been like word of mouth. And like I said, me personally, I feel like just putting out a lot of content on social media and developing your craft over time, people will reach out to you.
And that's happened to you?
That has happened. And also, it's weird. It's like a domino effect. You do a show and you meet somebody there, and then they book you to another show, you meet somebody there, and just like networking and developing your contacts.
Just good hard work.
Yeah, you just climb the ladder and meet who you need to meet.
No, I love that. Let's switch things up a little bit and talk about your music, because you have a new single coming out.
I do, March 19th.
Ooh, that's exactly a month away.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. Tell us about that single and where can people find it?
Okay, so this new single, speaking of me being consistent and putting things a lot out, it's been like 2 years.
Oh, has it really?
It's been a long time.
Okay, then this is really exciting.
It's very exciting because it took me a while, because I had to, I had funding initially, and then I had a lot less this time. So I had to just sort of do a little bit by little bit over time. And plus, this particular song, it's called Since We Were Young. And it's a very important song to me because I wrote it for my best friend that I've known since we were 9. And, when you move across a country or a state, or just, in our case, it's only Northern California and Southern California, but but you don't see them, you don't talk to them, and you feel like sometimes you could be growing apart, but that you're actually not, because those people, they know you, they know things about you no one else knows, and you have like a bond that can't be broken. So it's for friends, like that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you. I'm gonna ask you.
What?
Just want to hear a little snippet of it.
Oh, okay. It goes. We move on, but I'm never gone. You are the heart of where I come from. So there we go.
Snaps. I don't want to clap because it probably sounds too loud. That's beautiful. So talk to us about when you were saying that the budget. I think that is also very important for people to know how to manage, if they do have a budget, how to manage it, what to spend it on, and obviously putting a song together is very important.
It is. So, and I did it, maybe you guys can learn from my mistake, because I rewrote the song because I said it was important to me. And so it took me 2 years. I had to keep rewriting it. And hiring a musician or so to do one thing, and it would be too slow, too fast, and I have to hire again and change the part or whatever. So know what you're doing first before you have to keep hiring musicians over and over. But so you have to, do the musicians, or because I play guitar, but I wanted parts exactly in time and perfect. So I just had them do it. And then I had someone do strings. Then I had like a pedal steel, but she did it for a favor. And then I had a background singer. I had to go through a couple. One is a top singer. He's a good friend of mine, but it wasn't the right right sound with me. So I got another girl to do it. And so, just piecing it together.
All right. Well, Carmel, thank you so much. I feel like we could talk for another 15 minutes. And it's so funny because I've already done an interview with you and I feel like we still have so much more to talk about.
Yeah, girl.
So we might have to just do another little video or another podcast. But thank you so much for all your advice. I know that this is going to be really helpful for all of the people that are submitting for Musicash. I mean, people need advice. They need help and they're going to make mistakes along the way, but it's nice to hear someone else's journey and what they've been through. So Thank you so much. Any last words for people in this competition? Any advice starting out as a musician? Short and sweet.
Yeah, I guess just keep at it, guys. Submit yourself to the competition, and no matter what happens, keep at it. Keep working on your craft.
And you didn't tell us where we could find your single either. Let's make sure we let them know.
Okay,
Yes.
so once again, you can follow me on social media.
Yes,
as we mentioned.
we've already talked about that.
Carmel Helene on Instagram, Facebook, and I have a website, carmelhelene.com, and on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. My single will be released. You can check it out on March 19th.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for visiting Talents Out Loud, and thank you all for listening. And come back. We'll have another podcast, more great interviews, more insight to the heart of the music industry. And make sure you're following us on Facebook and social media, Musicash Competition. If you're not in it, make sure you do. All right, guys. See you next time.